This video is for you to help you pass your circles test. So for the circles test, there are 4 main vocabulary words with circles. The first one is a radius. Radius is halfway across a circle. The second vocabulary word is diameter. Diameter is all the way across the circle. Radius is halfway, diameter is all the way. The other 2 main words is circumference. Circumference is a fancy way of saying perimeter. Circumference is the distance all the way around the circle. This is my circumference. And finally, we have area, which is how many things fit inside the circle. The formula for circumference is pi d. Now, to get from radius to diameter, because this is halfway and this is all the way, diameter is equal to 2 times the radius, which means I could say pi 2r as well for circumference. Area is pi r squared. Pi r squared sounds like area. Okay, those are the 4 formulas. You've got to know these 4 things. If you don't, you're gonna struggle all the time. Okay, so then we have to be able to get from here to either any of these, from here to any of these, and from here to any of these, and from here to here. So, as the main ones. So, let's start with radius. If they give me a radius and they tell me the radius is 3, how do I get from radius to diameter? Radius to diameter is times by 2. So I just say 3 times 2 is 6. If they give me a radius, still 3, and I'm going to get from radius to circumference. Well, I go to the diameter. I can do radius to diameter, which I just did. 3 times 2 is 6. And then I times by pi. And I forgot to mention, but pi is 3.14. So I do 3.14 times 6. 3.14 times 6 is 18.84. The radius is 3. I want to get from radius to area. So I'm going to do pi r squared. So I like to write the formula out, and then underneath the pi, I plug in the 3.14. Underneath the r, I plug in the 3. Keep that cute little 2 in the corner, and I just take my calculator, and I type in 3.14 times 3, and that's my squared button right there. Squared gives me 28.26. So I can get from radius to diameter, radius to circumference, radius to area. Now, let's go, they give me a diameter. Let's say they tell me the diameter is 10. I got to do the same thing. I had to get from diameter to radius, diameter to circumference, and diameter to area. So to get from diameter to radius, if the diameter is 10, it's 2r is equal to the diameter. So I'm going to plug in the 10 equals 2r. I got to divide by 2. So I divide both sides by 2, and the radius is 5. To get from diameter to circumference, if I need a circumference, I'm going to use pi d. So take the pi, which is 3.14, times it by the diameter of 10. Type that in my calculator, I get 31.4. If the diameter to area, the formula for area is pi r squared. So I can't go straight from diameter. I got to go to radius first, which I did by dividing by 2. Once I have that radius, I do 3.14 times 5 squared. 3.14 times 5 squared is 78.5. Finally, if they give me a circumference, I need to know how to get from circumference to diameter and circumference to radius and circumference to area. So from circumference to diameter, circumference to radius, circumference to area. So if the circumference is equal to 62.8, well, I know that the circumference is pi d equals 62.8. That's it. So then I plug in the 3.14 for pi. Divide both sides by 3.14, just a basic one-step equation. And I get that the diameter is 20. When I get from circumference to radius, first of all I go circumference to diameter, then I take the radius and I divide it by 2, and that gives me, or excuse me, I take the diameter and divide it by 2, and that gives me the radius. To get from circumference to area, well, first I went from circumference to diameter, then I went from circumference to radius, then I do pi r squared. So I do 3.14 times 10 squared. Type that into my calculator and I get 314. If you can do these things, if you can switch between radius to diameter, radius to circumference, radius to area, from diameter to radius, diameter to circumference, diameter to area, and circumference to diameter, circumference to radius, circumference to area, you can do everything on the circles test. You got this. Come get help if you need it. If you're ready, go ahead and redo it. You got this.